Last week, you finished up your business in Daggerford. You did some more investigation into the Duchess. You are more than confident that she is, in fact, a succubus or incubus or some similar creature of significant power and influence. Interviewing her subjects, as it were, you did not find that much proof that they were ensorcelled so much as they are conditioned. So that was kind of an interesting note of fact. Ultimately, there was a lot of really good roleplay, and in the end, you opted to leave Daggerford and return to Saltmarsh, escorting your two NPC allies that you have made over the course of the campaign, Ida Owland and Gellin Primewater. So, there were a few things that happened via Discord this week I wanted to touch on before we go any further. Primarily, My Two Dads, one of the most popular shows on the Sword Coast, continues. And yeah, my two Black Dragonborn fathers was the working title, but they settled on My Two Dads, I guess. They are trying to influence their little baby boy, and they're kind of getting like two different but supporting approaches. Both of them are curious about Ebonfang's mother and his feelings about his mother. And both of them are trying to, in their own way, sort of discourage friendly fire and temper this creature's innate bloodlust and malice. Overall, the general information that you guys are able to acquire from Ebonfang about his mother is he is asked about his mother. He was told by the lizardfolk that she seeks his destruction. He understands that this is only natural because he is the greatest. It is natural to want to destroy what you fear and do not understand, and he does not fault his mother for wanting to destroy him. If he was in her scales, he would likely want the same thing. It is yet another of the great burdens, much like protecting you guys, that he must carry on his scaly shoulders. So, that being said, my two dads, you may each attempt an insight check to see if you can discern a little bit more from his bravado about that situation.
Okay.
Warm up them dice. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, Pheiros, this guy is so confident. He could. Oh yeah, Skull. Oof. You can't believe the unshakable confidence of this baby. You wonder if maybe he will start doing like confidence seminars that you guys could attend, because he is that unshakably confident that his mother has every right to fear him. Now, logic and common sense does step in, math, etc., etc. This baby has no chance of defeating its mother. This ain't no Harry Potter shit where she's gonna try to breathe like her breath weapon on him, and then like a scar of lightning's gonna appear, and she's gonna have her body just like shattered into 7 pieces or whatever. It's nothing like that's gonna happen. At least as far as you know. So you might take that to mean that this baby is super overconfident to the point of dangerous ignorance about just how bad his situation is. Because you can't tell if he's fronting essentially, or if he is actually that confident. But either way, if he is that confident, it's a mistake, because this creature is far too evil and far too powerful for a baby to stand against. So, but he does like Skull's idea of pretending to be everyone's friends so that he can weaponize it against you all later. So you might notice moving forward a friendlier and more helpful Ebonfang. Because Skul has taught him that friendship is not only magic, but is a magic weapon that can be used to destroy people. So, like any good father, so he will be pursuing that. So, let's see. Were there any other background stuff that we might want to touch on before we keep going? Ness used her flashback token to send a care package to bookstore. I'm sure that is greatly appreciated. Let's see. More badgering of the baby about his background and his family. When you do bring up the fact that the lizardfolk took heavy casualties when his mother showed up, again, with your bad insight checks, he is hard to read. You know, he is a different species, a different creature. He is wired differently. If you didn't know any better, you would say that he was daydreaming about what it would have been like to kill all those lizard folk himself. He did not show any remorse, sadness, or even surprise when you told him that his mother killed a bunch of lizard folk. Yeah. Let's see. Ta-ree. Yep, you are working on getting keywords. You can keep them in a belt pouch as sort of a cheat sheet, if you even need them, but you're a bard, so I would assume that, if you can memorize a song, you could essentially memorize, 10 words or less that are needed for your commands. Are you trying to get these into different languages? Gotcha. Okay. So we'll assume that, as long as you have access to your pockets, your belt pouch, you should be able to, whatever languages you have written down for this, access them as needed. It'll only be in situations where you couldn't access your cheat sheet that will rely on like an intelligence check or something like that to see if you can recall the words for the language you need under pressure.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks.
Let's see.
I think Deliria.
Okay. Luck of the draw, sticking with the party. All right. So here's the thing. Luck of the draw. He has a job already. That pays really well. So yeah, I mean, you could go ahead. You could drop a persuasion check on him, if you'd like, Pheiros. But he is very money motivated. So like, if he were to come, essentially work for you guys, he would expect to be making more money than he's making now, working for whoever he's working for. So
right. Okay,
yeah.
I have my reserve inspiration die that I haven't used in 4
sessions.
Dang.
Okay.
But I'll persuasion.
Dang. Oh.
Okay, 20.
And then the inspiration die. Is it just an additional D6?
Well, I think you're a fan of your ship was going to throw a bardic inspiration die on there when you finally pop the question. So yeah, so that's a D8 now, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So go ahead, roll a D8. Okay, 25. 25 is good. Luck of the draw confesses that he's had a lot of fun hanging out with you, and he uses like the broad you, but you take the meaning that he just means Pheiros. And he wouldn't mind helping out now and again, but he's always going to go with like his gut, his core, essentially, because he has guild obligations that cannot be avoided. But whenever he can, he would definitely like to spend more time with you.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really the best he could do without getting himself killed.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I think that covers everybody. All right. So, that being said, you finish up your night in the woods. The full moon, the werewolf shenanigans, that sort of thing. Does anybody leave and return to the roadside inn and sleep in a bed, or does everybody just kind of like hang out in the woods or stay up all night? Like, I guess I just need to ask. Pipe up if you went back to the inn and slept in a bed like a normal person.
I slept in the bed.
I
Okay.
did also.
I did
Okay.
too.
All right, fair enough. Pipe up if you decided to sleep in the woods that may or may not have trolls in it.
I would have slept in the woods.
Okay, you're a Beastmaster Ranger and a Wood Elf. You'll be fine.
I would have passed out at a tree.
Okay. Alira, do you stay within sight of Thogrum? Do you like use your survival skill to like cover him with leaves and stuff?
Yeah, let's cover him up with lots of mud so that way he learns a lesson to not get that drunk and sleep in the woods.
So you cover him in mud and leaves and twigs. By the
Are we
time
drawing
you're done,
things on him with dirt, or?
A penis on his
yeah, a
forehead.
penis on his forehead in the
Okay.
shape of
Alright.
leaves.
So combination like sorority hazing / cosplaying as a bush. Got it. Okay. Fair enough.
There's a penis-shaped bush out there.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's an easy one to Google, but I'm not going to. My search history is already a mess. All right. So, does anybody stay up all night with the werewolf and the trolls?
not Nikolai. Anyway.
Okay. Nobody? All right. So that is that. During the night, Ta-ree, you have fitful dreams. Go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Maybe I should have asked what the name of the inn was before I said I was sleeping there. Let's see. Wisdom saving throw. Or maybe it's succubus. Lingering succubus influence. How did I do?
Oh,
Yeah, so in
That's
these
not good.
in these dreams, you are insatiably thirsty. You are thirsty in the modern halfling slang, in that you want that lovin'. But you are also thirsty in a literal sense and in a hungering sense. It feels like nothing that you do or consume or intake in the dream can fill an ever-growing emptiness that is inside you. You feel more and more hollow and less like yourself. There is a point where, in order to get away from these feelings, you find yourself near the sea, because it's dreams, and you attempt to leap into the water and assume your other form. But as you do not assume the form of a beautiful seal. You find yourself transformed into a malformed bat-like creature. Your back hunched, your belly swollen from hunger, your ribs sticking out from emaciation. You look down into the calm evening tide and occasionally see this hideous creature looking back at you. And you realize with a bat-like scream that creature is you. You awaken in the bed and do not gain the benefits of a long rest.
Oh, no.
All right. So, continuing on your way, I suppose. Yeah, it's going to be only a few hours of travel to make it the rest of the way to Saltmarsh. You leave behind the Obedient Lions, which is the roadside tavern that you were staying at. So named because they have two of those lions that you buy at like the farmer's market, made of like cement outside. I guess they did get it at a farmer's market. I don't know, but that's why it's named the Obedient Lions. And you head down the road towards Saltmarsh. Those of you in the party who have been traveling with Ta-ree for a while, Ta-ree, do you make any effort to put on a strong face, or do you kind of let that fatigue show?
No, I go to Illyria, I think, and I'm like, can you catch things from being in the same water as the trolls?
As the trolls, were you
I
in
had
the
the
water with the trolls
worst
at all?
dreams, and I couldn't rest at all, and I felt like I was thirsty, and nothing I did, ever. Maybe I just need to see a cleric. I don't know.
Would I know, like, from the research that we did, these like lingering effects that she's describing have anything to do with the succubus?
Depending on the strength of the supernatural being, there can be long-lasting after effects from the creature. You're confident that whatever immediate control that was being exerted upon her, essentially like a lingering feeding almost, was dispelled with Thagram's magic. More than likely, this is something deeper, possibly even more malicious, that is sort of lingering in her mind. But you have no doubt that it is in fact related to the incident with Lady Daggerford.
I think Miss Daggerford still has a hold on you. Do you want to ride on Spencer for the duration of the trip?
Oh, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
You can probably go talk to
Surfer Thor,
Thor.
right?
Surfer Thor. It is also worth mentioning that your companion, Gellin Primewater, also looks like hot garbage that was set on fire this morning as well. So he and Ta-ree are sort of a match set of fatigue and exhaustion. Nikolai, I mean, you're doing great. Like, everybody that slept in the inn, you're doing great. Illyria, no problem. Thagram, wow. You just sort of look like a dick-shaped ghillie bush, I guess, or ghillie suit. Yeah, like it's real bad. I don't know if you have the means on you to remove this dried mud and leaves, or if you just arrive back at the party and are mistaken for a shambling mound and all that jazz.
Yeah, 100%. He has like no idea like what's going on. Just,
Okay.
Just stumbling around, looking around, like doesn't realize there's anything different. Like, I'm fine. We're fine. This is fine.
All right, fair enough. I will swap out your miniature for a shambling mound, and we'll just kind of continue from there.
Yeah, Thagram, I like your new dick shape. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you're normal. You look great. Everything's fine.
All
We
right.
might have to adjust the Fireforge Reserve recipe a little bit because it's pretty strong. It's probably the first time he's had this much.
Okay. Ida is in a pretty good mood. She seems perplexed by the dick-shaped bush that everyone is talking to, but she's been around a long time in the Forgotten Realms, and it's not the weirdest thing that's ever happened. So she just kind of goes with it.
Ida, what is weirdest thing you've ever seen?
Oh, she kind of blushes a little bit, and she's like, "Oh, the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Oh, the weirdest thing I've ever seen. You know what a weemic is?
Niet.
You know what a centaur is?
Ah, yes.
A weemic is like a lion centaur.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I used to travel with one. Gosh, his name was Richard or something that just didn't, don't mind me saying this, but didn't really fit for a weemic. And but he always wanted us to call him Gunboat. The reason for this is that he prided himself on his ability to swim, and because of his unique anatomy, he could fire a bow and swim at the same time. And he said that made him like a gunboat.
That is weird.
Yeah.
There's so
Well,
much going through Thogram's head right now.
Yeah, and here's the strangest part. Despite being part like cat, he had no actual ability to climb very well. Just swim, and he was actually quite weak. One of those dexterity-based fighters. But he was a big boy, being an insect or whatever with his, like 6 limbs, and anyways, we were all down in a dungeon, and he triggered a trap. He fell into a pit of acid. And, well, none of us were strong enough to pull him out. He wasn't strong enough to climb out. So he just swam around for a few rounds while he melted. And the bard, he just couldn't help himself. He said, look, he's a gunboat. That was probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Okay. Nikolai, I agree. Very weird.
Yeah. Yeah, every part of that guy was weird. So, we're almost home. I have much to do. I'm pleased that I'm no longer dead, and I'm going to prepare some public statements. I'm going to try to sway more people to the side of the loyalist. What are you folk planning to get up to?
Well, need armor for one, and two, I guess I could teach some Draconic around. I'm hearing that people need some words that are in various language. So,
Oh, okay. Good for you.
Nikolai also think if we look for, he'll kind of like look around at the party and he'll say cultists next. There might be some left over, even though we've killed many. Also, continue to look for serial killer.
Oh, that would be a great boon, especially since I'm pretty sure that the serial killer is still at large.
I'm gonna be looking for some water. Actually,
To drink?
He's the guy. I think he's hungover.
he's gonna look at like his arms and stuff and see all the leaves and stuff. Maybe we'll start to drink, and then maybe we'll consider a bath later.
So, your time on the road passes.
Sorry, just while we're I'll see if I can get Spencer to walk sort of near wherever Prime Water is, and just be like, "What happened to us? Like, what? Has this ever happened to you before? Like, I feel terrible. Is this a troll thing?"
Has what happened last night ever happened to me before? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. Just like he said, he looks like he feels the way that I feel.
You mean my fishing trip where I got the shit kicked out of me by trolls all night? Yeah, that's happened to me before.
Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with.
Are you all right? You
No, I feel terrible. I couldn't sleep at all, and I didn't even fight the trolls. Barely.
Hmm.
Is it a?
I'm not really a healer. I don't know. What are your symptoms?
Just thirsty, and I am half bat inside or something. It,
Go ahead and give me an insight check.
and I do get something plus to that.
He definitely has a glimmer of when you say the words thirst and bat.
Oh, he's a vampire. You're a vampire.
He says, what are you getting up to today?
Just lying here on Spencer like a sack of burned garbage.
If you feel that it's something you want more answers for, I can talk to my wife when we get back to the city, and you can come talk to her. She might know a little bit more than I do.
All right. I'll do that. She's lovely. She's wonderful. I would love to talk to her. Do you know anything about the serial killer?
Give me another insight check. He does. Oh, is that a thing?
That's my ring. Oh.
Yeah. No. Is that a thing you're gonna be looking into then?
Well, Ida had asked us to. I sort of thought you were both
No, it's
a
definitely,
unified force in the.
It's definitely something that needs to be dealt with. We should definitely have an early dinner at my place.
Great. I can't wait.
Ta-ree, I have to ask you, as obviously the face of your organization, how do you feel the others would feel if they were asked, hypothetically, to not kill the serial killer, but capture them alive and not turn them over to the authorities? Just testing, testing the waters here.
Yeah. I mean, I think if people's lives are being saved, I don't think. I'm just thinking, and I feel like shit, but I think Ilaria would be fascinated, and John would. I mean, Togrim would probably try to get it drunk, and as long as it liked his new concoction, it would be fine, I suppose. And Nikolai, as long as Ida didn't.
Because I have a spoiler for you. We're gonna get back to town, and that killer is gonna have killed again.
Oh. Go on.
Can anyone hear this conversation, or have you guys gone off kind of on your own?
I think they're doing like the lag behind deal. Like he's kind of just.
Yeah, I'm just lying there on Spencer.
She's laying on Spencer, and he's laying on his horse, and so it's like two lazy people are just sort of like, here's him laying on his horse, and here's her laying on Spencer, and they're just sort of like, like talking it up. Amazing art as always. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys look back and see them, they're basically having like a daytime slumber party on the road. Like, hey, are you still awake? Like, no. Oh, what do you think about serial killers? Oh, I don't know. What do you think about serial killers? Yeah, it's a very like laid back. We don't have any energy kind of situation. All right. So, yeah, he basically just says, I don't want to say more till I'm safely in the confines of my sitting room, but suffice to say, I might have more information that could quickly lead to the apprehension of this person.
Of course. Can I bring my friends with me, please?
As always, of course.
Thank you. Good night.
Even the misguided dragon prince.
My nose smushes into Spencer's blubber, and I just start snoring.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else have any other business on the road?
I don't think so.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. During your trip on the road, Illyria, a small dragon approaches you.
Oh no.
Oh.
In his tiny claw, he has a half-melted rabbit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where'd you catch that?
He tips an invisible fedora, and he says, "Milady,
Oh no. Who taught him that? Who taught?
I couldn't help but notice you have a insatiable bloodlust for murdering beasts. I have done the deed for you to show that we are alike and that you are my very dear friend."
Wow. That's so kind of you.
This is for you.
and he presents the half-melted rabbit. The rabbit looks like it died a horrible death.
Oh.
Yeah. Its one remaining eye wide with terror.
Oh, that makes me so sad. Are any of its paws still intact?
Yes, yeah. 3 of its paws, in fact.
Okay. I'll take it
Good
for
luck.
now. Thank you.
You'll notice that I gave you this gift without asking anything in return, because that's what friends do. And you are a very dear friend to me.
Oh, am I?
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe him?
You may roll an insight check.
Oh,
With advantage because of the things you've seen him do in the past. Yeah, no, he's not your friend. He's nobody's friend.
I appreciate our friendship very much so, thank you.
Excellent. I would like you to feel comfortable letting your defenses down around me, since we are friends.
You've got it, buddy.
Mm.
All right, and he looks over at Skull and Pheiros, and he gives him a thumbs up.
I wink and give him a thumbs up back. It's like, yeah.
Then he makes like the evil little kid scheming meme face, like it's all coming together.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Yeah, I'll eventually take those make some lucky rabbit's feet
Okay.
with this poor rabbit he savaged.
Nikolai, about an hour later, you are approached by Ebonfang. He has something behind his back. His mouth drips neon green, slimy acid. His eyes glitter with malice. He smiles broadly, showing several rows of needle-like teeth.
Nikolai smiled broadly as well.
Ah.
Greetings, savage. I have asked around about hobgoblins, and now that I understand you better, I understand your needs as a friend. Therefore, I have attempted to create beautiful art to share with you. Art that even a savage such as yourself could appreciate. This,
And he produces from behind his back.
is the skull of the man I killed while we were in Daggerford. You can see that I have melted away all of the flesh and brains and eyes, and then I even drew this picture with acid into the bones. It is a picture of me eating your cat while you scratch my back.
Okay.
It is very much the crayon drawings of a child. Acid etching of bones is a favored pastime of many black dragons. So this isn't too outside of his genetic predisposition.
That is best art of all art I have ever seen, Ebonfang. May I keep it?
Yes, you can wear it as a belt buckle, or you could maybe make a mask to hide your hideous face.
Nikolai, think belt buckle first. Also, yeah, belt buckle first.
You will notice that I have given you a great gift and ask nothing in return. This is because you and I are such good friends.
Nikolai noticed things. Yes.
I would like you to feel very comfortable around me moving forward, perhaps lowering your guard and defenses, and not keeping such a close eye on your cat.
This is the thing you could have given me that would make me feel most comfortable. He doesn't laugh. He keeps a straight face.
Okay. Give me a performance check just to make sure.
Oh shit. If
Or deception. Performance or deception.
If only Greg had laughed. We'll do deception since that's what he's going for.
Okay. He narrows his eyes suspiciously when you laugh, and then he looks back at his two dads, and then he looks back at you, and he starts to laugh.
We laugh because we are friends, and the feeling of joy created by our friendship forces this horrible sound from our bodies.
Oh my god.
Let us laugh more.
God.
After a while, he cannot take it anymore. He rushes off to the side of the road and just vomits acid everywhere.
Okay, good. As long as it's not at me, it's fine.
Okay. He looks over at his two dads and kind of gives a half-hearted thumbs up.
That's good. Good job. Good job. You had him there.
All right. An hour later. Fog room.
Greeting, Master Dwarf.
Greetings.
I have come to understand your people better in the time that we have traveled together. I understand that the dwarves are even more greedy than metallic dragons. I understand that you would do anything for gold, including publicly humiliate yourself, such as dressing up like a strangely shaped bush. Like are you a snake or something?
What are you talking about? I don't.
Regardless, because we are such good friends, while we were in Daggerford and I was unsupervised, I took money away from a blind homeless man. I am going to give that money to you.
And he hands you 3 silver pieces.
The fool left his hoard unprotected in a small cup. It was easy to take. And you'll notice, a dwarf who is consumed by greed, that I am not consumed by greed, for I am freely giving you this gift with no hope of recompense, because we are such good friends.
We are. You're the greatest. And I want to take and I want to use grab like a piece of wood or something like as we're traveling.
Sure.
And I want to use fabricate, and I'm going to use fabricate and make like a little Ebonfang statue.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
And
he takes it from you because it is only right that you would give him something. All right. He says,
Do you give this to me out of friendship or fear for your life?
I thought we were friends. I mean, you gave me something, and dwarves who just don't like to take things.
Oh, understandable. Yes, yes.
so-
Even the scales.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that moving forward, you provide me more offerings while also lowering your defenses around me. Because since we are such good friends, you have nothing to fear from me. I mean, nothing to fear from me.
And he
No.
smiles and shows you his 3 rows of needle-sharp teeth.
Nothing to fear at all.
Yes, nothing to fear.
Oh my gosh.
And he looks back at Pheiros and Skul and gives 2 thumbs up because he's pretty sure this went really well.
What's even better is that like his little picture or his little icon has him like looking back.
For their approval. Yeah. All right. So that has been settled. All right. As you approach the town, he does order his 2 servants to dress him in the garb of slavery, so that people will not be too afraid when he goes into the town. Do you put him in his special kobold onesie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fair enough. Congratulations. You have safely made it back to Saltmarsh. All right. What would you like to do now that you are back in the city?
Back in the city. I guess I get introduced into some real kobolds in the city, and then check in on my smiths, I guess.
Sure. Okay. While that is going on, Skul, do you go with him, or do you trust your husband to take your son out for an hour or 2?
Yeah, I guess it's fine.
You inspire so much confidence.
What's the
I mean,
worst that
to
could
be-
happen?
To be fair, last time you got him drunk, or you didn't get him drunk, but he killed a bunch of people in a bar.
I kind of wanted to try to
No
be
one
a
knows
little
about
less, have a little lower profile. I was thinking about just going and hiding at Illyria's house until something
Nope.
happened.
No, I'm sorry.
So
I
Pheiros,
have way too
as you
many
guys,
cute things there.
Pheiros, as the 2 of you walk off, he does hand you a what looks like a thigh bone.
Where did this come from?
There was a stray dog in Daggerford.
Oh.
I murdered it.
Oh my god, yes.
And I ate it. But this was my favorite bone. And on it, I drew this picture of your liberation from your harsh mistress into the loving claws of your new king.
Is that King you?
Yeah, so you see this this sort of hieroglyphic like cave drawing on the very small thigh bone of you being beat up by, you assume, a woman, because she has like a triangle shape for like a dress, I guess.
Right.
And you're crying a lot. And then you look in the next panel, you look over and you see this resplendent form that you can only assume would be Ebonfang. And then in the third panel, you are sort of groveling and placating him, and he has a crown on. And the woman is torn in half and dead at his feet.
I do like most of this drawing. And much like the lizardfolk, I guess they teach you how to use most of the animal. That's a good thing to do.
What was your favorite part of the drawing?
Well, something between the second and the third panel, maybe like halfway into the third panel. Like, if the mistress is like torn in pieces, maybe I like that part a lot too. Maybe the last part where it's like you're the protector of all the dragon people. That can work out.
Yeah, he definitely inflates with pride, having his excellent artwork receive praise. All right, so as you head off to check on your your servants essentially and contacts within the town, does anyone else have a business now that they've returned to Saltmarsh? I don't know if you saw the text, but your cousins took hell amounts of downtime to do stuff, and that caused all the shops to update their inventories. So, yeah. The 2 shops in Saltmarsh, the Dwarven Anvil, and the Quartermasters of Joachim should both have new stuff.
That +3 light hammer though.
Yeah, strong enough to hit a god. That's what that's what the tag on the shelf says.
I want to see if I can locate my acolyte.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Because he would be there by now. Let me pull that up for you real quick. Okay. While I'm pulling that information up, does anyone else have things that they wanted to do in Saltmarsh so I could start mentally queuing that up for you? Me?
I guess I want to go find out. Pheiros, I guess we had arranged that the guards that fought with us at the swamp ruins were gonna bring back some stuff. I'm gonna take care of that, get the gold from that, get them paid for doing that for us, and then I guess we're gonna try find a fence for our other illicit goods, just to get that cash so we can start spending some money on the new shops, maybe.
All right. And let's see. You were traveling. It was the full moon. Let's see. So there's still one more night of the full moon tonight. Okay. Which means your acolyte has been here for 3 days. Okay. Cool. All right. So
I would.
Yeah.
Oh, are you doing the acolyte thing?
Oh no. Just queue him up. What are you hoping to do when you get to town?
I would just whenever Spencer stopped walking, I think I would like fall off and hit my head on the ground pretty hard, and then I would tell everybody about the thing at Gellen's that evening and ask them if they would come with me.
Okay. Fair enough.
And maybe give people a little bit of a heads up about the werewolf thing, possibly. He seems to know something about the werewolf. I mean, it's not him. We saw his fur. Nice call, Illyria, but yeah, I feel like we should go. Maybe we can kill 0 werewolves with 1 sitting room or something. I don't know. Oh God, I feel terrible.
Yeah, I think Nikolai would express his, it sucks to feel like shit. And he'd want to kind of chill with Ta-ree and go see Mr. Primewater.
Okay, fair enough. Ta-ree, you going to try to get in a long rest today? Since you did not get one last night? Or just sort of rest up during the day sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the insight, I think I would assume that like I'm just fucked and I can.
Yeah.
There's no point, and so I would just kind of like lie around, and I would wish that I was going with Skull to see the guards, but not under any condition to go see people. So I would just lie around, wishing that I were better until it was time to go.
And where will
take a rest at? Sorry.
At your house?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
And
okay. I'll just lie there.
Is it okay if Nikolai also come?
So long as you like rats.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I can go back to my house. Ta-ree can get a nice rest, and can ask my rats if they've spotted the werewolf where it was last seen.
Cool. That sounds fun. Let's go hang out with some rats.
Alrighty. So, sounds like a lot of interesting things are going on. Let's jump into Thogram's Apprentice real quick. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. So Thagrum, you live in roughly the same neighborhood as Illyria, right? Like your next door neighbors, basically.
Pretty
It's
close,
just
yeah.
you, Illyria, and Mrs. Barnaby. So you arrive looking for your new apprentice. Let's see. Your new apprentice being Danbiz Copperphase. It's a good name.
Yeah.
All right. So, a cleric of Gond. Let's see. There he is. Okay. So as you arrive, you hear before you even get there, the whirling of machinery. You see steam kind of in the air, and as you approach, you see Mrs. Barnaby is in her little side yard, and she's taking down her wash because it is getting really windy today. Winds are going to be at I think almost 30 miles per hour or more. Let me double check. Supposed to tonight get very, very windy. So right now, calm, but she sees you and she says, Thagrum, you've been gone a while.
Yeah, just taking care of some business, around here and there.
Well, I'm taking down the wash. It's supposed to be a real windy night. I have to ask, you told me to give a key to a gnome, if he came by looking for you, and I did. But he's a very unusual fellow.
Oh, you don't say.
I do say.
What's unusual about him, if you don't mind?
He's up all hours of the night. He makes all manner of racket. There's a weird smell that's just permeating the shared courtyard, and I've heard a few explosions.
When she says the explosions, like, Thagrum gets kind of excited about it.
Okay.
Oh. Huh. Well, I guess we'll just have to talk to Mr. I know his name, Mr. Copperface, and see what's going on around here.
Well, all right. Well, it's good to see you again, and maybe ask him to keep it down after the sun sets.
Oh, yeah. Quiet hours, very important. Yeah.
All right. As you open the door to your place, it has been terraformed by Rock Gnome. Everywhere there are tools, there are half-built gadgets and contraptions. There are just boxes of spare parts. There are things disassembled and laid out in almost sort of a dissection manner to sort of examine how they work. Things that you didn't think could or should be broken down into smaller parts have been broken down into smaller parts. Using like your very fine, coffee table as a suitably sized workbench, you see a gnome hard at work trying to get a mechanical duck to function properly. The gnome looks up at you, and his eyes kind of go wide, and he says,
Well, you must be Thagrum.
Well, Mr. Copperface, I presume. It is. I'm Thagrum. How are you? How have you been?
Oh, sir, I am great. I am very, very great. I didn't know if you were ever coming back, so I just sort of made myself at home.
Well, good to see. I'm glad you've kind of made yourself at home here. There's some pretty interest, and I'm just gonna start like picking up random things like that seem interesting, while talking to him. Yeah, this looks pretty great.
Oh yeah, that automatically boils an egg.
Well, you don't say. Wow.
Pretty basic design. Look at this. You're staying up late at night and you want to read. This is fueled by bioluminescent fungal spores. I call it a book lamp.
Very interesting. Oh, hey, first thing, could you do me a favor? Could we keep it down a little bit after the, when it gets to the wee night hours? Mrs. Barnaby over there,
Oh,
calling
yeah.
anybody on us. We don't want them not liking the old Church of Gond because we're up all wee hours of the night.
I did want to ask about that. I looked around town. I didn't see a Church of God.
Well,
I also didn't see anyone using fancy pants technology.
Well, it's a good thing you're here, because now that there's two of us, we can start working on this whole Church of Gond thing.
Oh, well, I took the liberty of already putting in the paperwork to have your home turned into the church.
Well,
It'll be great for your taxes.
yeah, that sounds great. Well, or what can you do? Okay, well, how
Well,
are
I mean, if you don't want it, we could go down to City Hall and have the paperwork taken back. I'm sure they haven't processed it yet.
Nah, it's whatever. It's not. How are you with the forge?
Oh, I'm proficient.
Oh, are you now? Okay. Well, so I've got some stuff to make for me traveling companions and such. If you don't mind giving me a hand.
Are these things that have never been made before? Are you pushing the boundaries of your imagination?
I mean, no, but
Oh.
I mean, it's just like half plate armor and stuff,
Oh.
We'll just start with the basics. I just want to see how you are around the forge,
Oh, I see. You want to test me out on the basics.
Yeah. We'll get started. Then we'll move on to some more of difficult stuff. We'll have a talk about it.
I see. Assuming the paperwork was in order and we get this church started, have you given any thoughts to your sermons that you're going to give? These people need to be uplifted. Their imaginations need to be ignited with the possibilities that lie before them. They need to be broken free from the shackles of arcane and divine magic. They need to know that every person has the potential inside of them to rise above that dependency, that they can change the world in any way they choose, as long as they have the power of their imagination.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely start with that. That sounds real great. So, yeah. Shall we go? And he's gonna kind of like point over to the forge, like.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but he has proficiency with smith tools.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
I just want to start maybe making little things and having like a small talk with him, conversation.
Okay.
Kind of find out like where he grew up and.
This guy is a zealot in like the best way, Like you've got your Westboro Baptist Church, and you've got your, like suicide bombers, and you've got your like demonic cultists. But then you've also got people that legitimately take like the good teachings of their faith, and they really like want to share those with people. This guy cannot seem to get past the power of imagination and innovation. Like that seems to be Gond, has a lot going for him. But that seems to be what Danbiz is fixated on. And anytime he gets to steer or force a conversation in that direction, that's the direction that it goes in. And he has some wild ideas, and he definitely seems to try to push you towards sharing some of your crazier ideas. And you get the feeling that at the same time that you're testing his practical abilities, he's testing you for your impractical ideas and things like that.
So while we're working on some of the armor pieces, I kind of want to talk to him like, you see this right here. This is for a dragonborn friend of mine. So I kind of want to reinforce it a little bit because he kind of tends to get hit a lot, and I don't want him, dying on me. I kind of need him around. I kind of like the fella. So, I mean, if you have any ideas about or any adjustments you think I should make to the armor, I'd love to hear them.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, first and foremost, he asked if the Dragonborn has a tail, because a surprising number of Dragonborn have tails, considering they're not supposed to. And that will complicate the design of the armor.
Does he have a tail?
Oh, you're asking me? Sure. Sure. The tails are pretty cool, but
I mean, so could we make it? How difficult would it be to minus the tail function afterwards if we didn't have it? What if he loses his tail? Like what can he do at that point?
Oh yeah. There's no problem. Basically the butt area receives the least amount of armor anywhere on the suit. So like, which he points out is kind of a weak spot, but it's hard to develop butt plates that don't cut into a person's thighs and butt cheeks. He has been looking into mithril underpants as a solution, but he can't ever get enough mithril together to make a good pair. Like the last pair of mithril underpants he made was more like a thong, and he said it was like super uncomfortable. He also points out that the thong did not solve the problem of easily damaged butt cheeks. But he's also been thinking about this sort of a combo of like briefs and boxers. So you get a little bit of like hip hugging action, full cheek coverage. And he's not saying it in any kind of lewd way. It's in a very like logical, matter of fact. I've thought a lot about making mithril underpants for people to solve the problem of not enough butt armor. And then he hits upon the idea that, do you think the Dragonborn would like a sock for his tail? We could make a chainmail sock.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good idea. I never thought about that.
Yeah. Aesthetically, in your heart, Thogrim, it would look really stupid. But functionally, it's not a bad idea. You're not sure if they use their tails to like regulate temperature like a rat, or if they use it for balance or what, but there could be complications to encasing it in chainmail. So you guys kind of work it out that first day of work, like employer employee, mentor mentee kind of situation, as you try to get a feel for where this guy's coming from. Go ahead and give me an insight check. Yeah. You get the feeling that he is pretty impressed with you. Happy that you have returned and are alive. But very eager to focus on the more religious aspects of your job, or his job at least, and less on the making of mundane items. Like, he definitely is pretty bored just making stuff people have already made before. So that's kind of your feel for this guy.
I want to talk to him. You said he's a cleric, right?
Yes.
And he has mending, if he has access to the mending stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of have him on his free time go around and repair things for people while kind of putting out the good word.
Okay. He does like that idea quite a bit. So, all right. So you've kind of got your guy set up. You've given him a purpose, and you have him now as a resource, as it were. Pheiros, you and Ebonfang swing by and check in on your kobolds.
Right.
Okay. You receive their wages if you want them, or they can keep them. It's totally up to you.
Well, Are they still living in the back, or?
Yeah, they're kobolds.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I need to get them like their own little, I don't know, closet.
I mean, they've got, a little space in the cellar. Because, they don't like light that much because they're kobolds.
Hmm.
They do a lot of their work at night, like early morning and, late evening kind of thing. But yeah, so you roll up on them. You are, I mean, technically because they're your vassals, like you are entitled to their wages, or you could just let them keep stockpiling their wages.
I'll tell them to deposit it into like our bank account, and they just like need to like eat or whatever. They could like use that money for like the 5 gold they need per day or whatever.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'll take the money and then like, all right, just use this bank account or whatever if you need anything, or like buying materials like craft stuff. And Ebonfang, these are actual kobolds.
Okay, this is a very come to Jesus moment for Ebonfang. He looks at the kobolds, who are, roughly the same size as him. And he looks at you, who is very big compared to him and the kobolds. And you can see the gears kind of grinding in his mind. All the times you insisted that you weren't a kobold and that he should be disguised as a kobold. And it's all sort of coming together.
And assuming they'll be like very excited to meet a dragon. They're like, "What is that?"
Oh
thing?"
yeah,
Like,
you're like
a puppy.
yesterday. Yeah, you're like yesterday's news. Yeah, like this is a real dragon. And I'm assuming you have the secret, like he shows off his wings and whatnot, like in the
like off to the
basement.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, the kobolds, they sort of just start like groveling before him and like placating him. They go and they get like all of the nice things that they've been keeping for themselves, and they start to pile it in front of him. And as he watches this happen, you can see that he's very pleased by this, but he keeps looking at you appraisingly.
Oh, okay.
And then he finally says,
You're not a kobold, are you?
I've told you this about a couple, like 10 times by now.
I mean, you could still be a kobold, like a freakishly big kobold, but these creatures, they're pathetic.
and the kobolds sort of like mule, and they're like,
We're pathetic. Oh.
and he's like,
I want more of these. Where do I get more of these?
Caves, wherever they make their huts. And when you're a big dragon, or bigger than you are now, I'm sure they'll flock to you. This is what you should expect something like this in the future. This is why you should protect them, so they can keep bringing you things.
But you keep them here with your jailer.
They're learning how to craft weapons for me.
I see. So you have kobolds. Do you try to be a dragon?
and he kind of narrows his eyes at you.
Pheiros kind of like sighs very deeply. He's like, maybe, but the extra help is definitely appreciated. They kind of see me as the closest thing to a dragon they've seen until now.
Interesting.
All right. Yeah, he's definitely. This is a lot for him to process. Okay. Skull. You follow up on the thugs that were hired by Gellin Primordial to assist you with the attack on the cultist base. They did make it back to town successfully. And they did bring all that loot back to town. So if you've been sitting on all that loot, waiting to cash it in, it can now be cashed in successfully.
All right. Thank you.
And then I believe the agreement was they wanted like, what was it, like a third or something like that of the amount.
Okay. Well, yeah, you tell me
Something.
whatever it is, and I'll take care of it. I mean,
Okay.
is it a third? That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll figure it out twice later.
Yeah. Since you guys, did all most of the killing and stuff, but they feel like they did a pretty good job of
Yeah, I got the Hydra.
escorting it back and all that jazz. Yeah. Then you follow up on trying to get your goods fenced. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I would definitely offer it prime water first if you wanted it, but if you didn't,
Yeah,
then
sure.
I'd find someone else.
Yeah, your by going through Prime Water, he gives you better than 50% of the possible market value, because of the deeds you've done, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's willing to move it for you and only take 20%. So you could actually get 80% of the value without having to worry about smuggling it, laundering it, all that criminal activity.
Fantastic.
All right. So Nikolai, Illyria, and Ta-ree, you're all hanging out at Ta-ree's house.
My house.
No, sorry, at Illyria's house. Yeah. All right. So as you arrive, boy, that's messed up. There are a number. There are a number of offerings laid out for the landlord.
Offerings?
Yes. In total, there is 33 copper pieces. There are 7 silver pieces. There's 1 platinum piece. There is a mason jar that looks like it is full of tongues.
What kind of tongues can we tell?
They look a bit purple and very long and pointy at the ends. Yeah. You also see that there are, let's see, there is an ink and ink stopper. What is the ink bottle called? Like, I don't know. There's a bottle of ink. Inkwell, thank you. There's an inkwell and a quill. But no matter how often you dip the quill in the ink, the quill will not retain any of the ink.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah. And there is a crumbled up piece of paper. When you open it, it is a tiny sketch portrait of a goblin. All right. The rats watch as you examine each of the offerings.
This is inside the house, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Illyria,
The music got very intense for this. This is amazing.
do you typically get such offerings?
No. This is the first. Can I cast Speak with Animals?
Sure,
and
sure.
Address. What was the name of the alpha?
Oh gosh. Let me check my notes.
I don't think you ever.
Let's see. So the alpha goes by the name of Pickles.
Pickles.
So Pickles, alpha of the Pain Rats, explains to you that they have been keeping an eye out for anything they felt would be useful to you.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
In exchange for letting them dwell in this great abode, and they motion to your very small house.
So long as they're happy, That makes me happy. So, Pickles, have you guys seen anything since the last full moon?
Oh, well, Pickles looks at the other rats, and they all seem very concerned. There's a lot of chittering and chattering, low whispers, and then Pickles turns to you and says, "My lady, there has been, as your people would call it, a murder."
Dun dun dun. Can you tell me where this happened?
Yes. Let's see. What would you call it? The place where the people without much food and shiny things live, by the water.
Oh yes, I do know this place. Were any of you brave enough to stay around? Perhaps to see the creature that was murdering?
They all kind of look
Sure.
around a little bit, and they say,
Well, it looked a lot like you.
Mhm.
and they point at you, Illyria.
What was the color of her hair?
Like,
An elf?
with the yes.
Okay.
But more male.
Male. A male elf. If I took you around town with me, would you be able to tell who he was if we saw him?
They kind of look about, and the one that witnessed the elf kind of scurries forward and agrees.
Okay. I'll have Ta-ree.
According to my random rat name generator, this guy's name is Tony.
Tony.
That's a good name.
Eyewitness rat Tony added to notes. So Tony tries to describe the guy to you. I can't remember if rats could see color or not. I think they can.
I think they can.
In a nutshell, rats are dichromatics. They perceive colors like humans, with red and green color blindness, but the color saturation may be quite faint, and color appears to be far less important than the brightness. Okay. Let me augment this a little bit. They describe the elf as being very bright.
Okay.
But they describe his skin as being much darker than yours. And then they point to Ta-ree and say, like theirs.
Okay. Do I know of any elves? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
That match that description?
Well, I mean,
Having lived here.
because people love elves, at least until tieflings were released. There's about 4,000 different elves, it feels like, in Forgotten Realms. But generally a term that people use when they describe elves and also being bright would probably be a sun elf, aka like an Eladrin.
Okay.
The rat, Tony, also says,
Oh, and fire. Stabbed with fire.
Stabbed with fire. I'll translate this all to Ta-ree and Nikolai.
Illyria, do you know at night or in when? Like when night was coming, when night was leaving?
Did they see the elf or?
Yeah, like when the elf was doing his bad things.
Alright, I'll ask Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Was this in the morning or in the evening?
Oh, he explains that it was early at night. So night had fallen. The moon was just starting to rise.
Can he take us to where he saw it, Valeria? Or no?
Yeah, he said, what was the
I don't want to like have
place
your rats
that-
die.
Yeah, I mean, he could lead you to the place where the humans with very little food and money live, by the water. You assume he's talking about Crabber's Cove, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go there, but Ta-ree, are you okay to stay here? Sleep it off.
I'll be fine, I think.
Before
I'm like drooling onto your couch or whatever.
Before we leave, can I just like pull out some herbs and try and make like a feel better tea for Ta-ree?
Yeah. You could definitely, try to pamper her a little bit before you head out.
Oh, thank you.
The rats make good snuggle buddies if you want that.
All right.
Yeah, I'll like pile them up just on my head like a hot compress. Like just
Yeah, it's like if
Big rat
Cinderella
buddy.
had the flu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They sing in rat some catchy melody about penicillin and Vicks Vapor Rub, and they get you situated.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. I think we've addressed everybody's individual needs within the city to a certain extent. You do have a lead here on the killer. Do you want to investigate ASAP, or while the trail is hot, or I don't know, detective terms? The lead is hot. I think that's something like that.
Nikolai say yes. Let's go.
So is it just going to be
think?
I would assume if you guys are spread out around town, it'd be difficult to communicate this knowledge to the rest of the party, especially since Skull's probably going to be embroiled in business talks most of the day, selling stuff. Pheiros, you're kind of dealing with banking stuff, employee management, all that. Thogrim is training a new employee. So yeah, I would say it would just be the two of you. All right, you head on. Oh, what?
Sorry, I actually watched your things of bad player habits that you posted earlier. Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna say something, and it's like totally falling into that. So I'm looking at find familiar for Ketyaru.
Sure.
I actually don't know, looking at the description, whether he could like try and round people up quickly. Like if I sent him on a search and destroy mission where like it was less destroying and more like let's go find these people and be like tap them on the shoulder and be like, follow me.
Yeah, I mean that is one of the reasons that ships have ship wizards, is because they can send the familiars between ships in a fleet to communicate. So yeah, it's not an unusual thing to ask of a familiar. If you had a general sense of where they were, those would probably be the easiest ones. Thogrim is literally next door. Yeah, so that would be an easy one. Pheiros, I think, told everybody where he was going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Skul would probably be the hardest one to track down because his business would take him all over town.
So I think Ketyaru would go after Pheiros probably first, and then try and find Skul.
Okay. So Ketyaru heads off to get Skul. You guys just knock on Thogrim's door. Tell him we're gonna investigate a murder.
Yeah.
Okay. Thogrim, are you down for that? Your assistant just looks stunned.
Yeah, I'll be right there. Mr. Copperface, I have to go handle some business. Council. hopefully I'll be back soon. If you could just keep going with this and push along with that little mission I had you go earlier.
Did that hobgoblin murder somebody? Is that why?
No.
Oh.
He would probably murder people, but it's not that. That has nothing to do with what's going on right now. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have my instructions. I'll follow through, sir.
All right, buddy. And then he's gonna shoot him like finger guns and walk out the door.
All right. You guys start heading towards Crabber's Cove. Katiaru flies over as a Tressum. You're kind of at the top of the low end of the food chain, right? So most things aren't gonna mess with you. There's no gargoyles in Saltmarsh, at least I don't think. So yeah, you kind of look around trying to find this building. I mean, you're smarter than a normal animal since you're basically like an elemental spirit, face spirit kind of thing. Eventually, you would find the building with Pheiros. There is a knock at the top of the stairs, like against the door frame. The blacksmith calls down and is like, Pheiros, there's a cat here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a
The
flying
winged
cat?
one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Ebonfang, looks like we're done here today. So we could come check on the kobolds later. If you'd like. But it looks like
I will stay here with the kobolds. This will help me with my disguise. I will study them and learn more about their ways.
Don't interfere with their work. Please.
He looks at you and he kind of waddles up to you, and then he flaps his wings. He puts his hand on your shoulder, and he looks you into your eyes with his eyes, into your soul, and he says,
You can trust me because we're friends.
Oh, okay. Well, be nice to them, protect them from anything, please.
I will protect them from anything.
Yes, but they also work here, so they need to make coin for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll leave them in your very capable hands, Evan.
Absolutely. Go on. Go and enjoy yourself, Dragonborn.
Can I insight him?
sure.
Great.
Yeah, man, it feels good to finally be acknowledged as a dragonborn by your friend.
Okay. All right. They're very important to me, so I'll
That
leave them
is
in your key.
excellent information to have, friend.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll like give him like the knowing like nod. Like I want him to like, this is the look, like the understanding look between two like moderately evil things.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
He smiles, showing his 3 rows of needle-like teeth. It gives you the 2 thumbs up.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
This bodes well.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So all right. Jira, Kira, I leave you to Ebonfang. Respect them as you would me.
Okay. So you head out. The cat, impatiently, I guess, kind of flies from perch to perch, sort of leading you towards the others.
It does.
Yeah, because I believe Tressums can understand Common, but they
can.
cannot speak. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Can you carry notes?
I was assuming that's what. Yeah, that he brought a Nikolai Constantine third of his name note. So. Did it say like Crabber's Cove, or did it just say follow Katiaru?
Follow Katyaru, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Less incriminating. Nice. All right. You guys make your way over to Crabber's Cove. You've been there before. There was a lovely Jamba juice bar there at one point. We could go over to the map for ambiance if you'd like. Else, you can just sort of murder mystery investigate. Yeah, let's go over. Let's get a fresh scene. So there we go. Let's see. Who do we got here? Ta-ree's not there. We'll just bring everybody over just so that they can all, see and not have a big blank screen. So here we go. And get rid of this old Pheiros. We'll just do everybody fresh. There we go. All right. Let's see. There we go. Mm-hmm. Is Spencer coming too? Yeah, I can't imagine you wouldn't be.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. Yeah. All right. I think that's everybody. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Pheiros, yeah.
And Skull is still elsewhere. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have Skull and Ta-ree's Mini here, but they're gonna be off, recuperating / making business at the business factory. So
I can see everything now. Okay.
all right. Yeah, it's a cool map. I like it. It's a good map. All right. So you guys arrive down in Crabber's Cove. And when you do, you can see that there are already many guards already in place. And the many guards are surrounding what looks like a dead body that has been discovered in this kind of back alleyway over here. And is being... the whole area is sort of like being cased and looked over as they try to figure out what to do next. All right. One of the guards seems to be in charge of the whole situation. She is a darker-skinned human. She is wearing no helmet, and she definitely radiates the aura of not just being a basic guard. And she seems to be inquisitively examining the scene, sort of figuring out what is what. All right. How would you guys like to proceed?
And the dead body is kind of here-ish?
Yeah, I'll toss one down real quick. I'm trying to find one that's not horribly mutilated. They're all kind of a mess. Whatever.
I mean, we could just go and talk to them. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
Any one of you magically inclined folks can just raise the body?
I cannot, unfortunately.
Oh.
Ta-ree did mention that something about keeping it a little on the hush-hush.
Oh.
Who it is that did this, right? Or
Right. It was just to find the killer, but...
Yeah, not necessarily expose them.
Does he walk over, right?
I think so. Let's
Okay.
go introduce ourselves.
All right.
Go
Put
talk
on-
to these two guards.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang back and see if they get in or not.
My name is Nikolai Constantine, third of his name. Work with Ida much. She has asked us to find the person who kills people, like this person.
Oh. Okay. All right. That's very forward. Okay.
He's very direct, yeah.
Yeah. The two guards kind of look at each other, and they know Ida, and they have certainly by now sort of seen you around town. And they, they overcome years of and generations of racism, and finally, the one guard says, "Wait here. I'll go tell the guard, the guard inspector, that you're asking about this. Does that work?"
Yeah, we're here to
Ah.
help.
We brought many experienced investigators to help.
Okay. All right. So, eventually, I'm looking for her mini. I'm trying to find it, but it is not It is not showing up when I search for it. Hopefully you don't try to fight and kill her. She kind of moseys on up to the party and tells her guards here, don't touch anything, don't move anything. I can't believe it went this long without being discovered. And she sort of approaches the party and says, afternoon. The name is Nicolina. I'm the guard inspector in charge of this case. Is there something I can help you with? My man here says that you were sent by Ida Owland. I did not know that being a councilwoman gave her permission to hire vigilantes.
Well,
Nick,
she has faith in our abilities. Pheiros kind of shrugs.
yeah, and Nikolai will kind of nod his head as Pheiros is speaking and say, "We are not vigilantes. We have helped Ida much, and she has asked us to help us find and investigate these deaths. We would like to work with you if that would be of assistance." We do not mean to try and take your job away from you or, do anything incorrectly. We just want to help.
Okay. She kind of like, when you say take your job from her, she just kind of like makes like a sort of an ugly face a little bit that, that you would kind of throw that out there so blatantly. But she kind of ruminates over it. She looks back. She says, there's been a lot of murders. And we are not turning up any leads. Rumor around the town is that you folk have done a lot of good as far as rooting out cultists and handling matters that were a bit too dangerous for run-of-the-mill guards. Why? She looks like she's really debating this. Why don't you tell me what you know so far? And then if it sounds like you would be useful in my investigation, I'll let you see the body and we can discuss it further. If you're coming in here blind, I don't need you confusing the situation any further.
Well, I will begin. We know they often die kind of early evening. It seems like there is dark-skinned, maybe bright-haired elf who is involved. We've known you've had these going on for a while, and then he'll look to Pheiros to see if he wants to add in any more.
You seem to have it handled, big guy.
Alright. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a good high-level summary.
Okay. She nods and seems pretty impressed. Huh, that's pretty good. Almost eerily good. All right. Come in, but don't mess anything up too bad. I'm trying to get a cleric down here so we can get a speak with dead.
Yeah, I don't have it up.
Good.
Yeah, well, we can definitely wait for that.
So I'm guessing this is perception check time now, or?
Yeah.
I want to walk by each of the guards and kind of flash my holy symbol of Gond to like. Step aside, boys. Cleric of Gond here.
Oh yeah, I'm very useful. Don't worry, guys. A 20 is only coming in combat. It's okay.
That's a good place for it to come. Man.
It's good to have discretion, Like, you don't want to do it too much, or it looks like you're bragging. You know what I mean?
I think Nikolai would kind of try and chat up and just try and figure out what she knows. If she's
Okay.
willing to divulge it at all. He definitely will let other people do the perception checks on the dead body.
Sure. Okay. Let's roll out a few skill checks here. Feel free to describe a bit flavor-wise, like how you doing, what you're doing, before the roll. That may or may not assist in the DC and stuff. But yeah, who would like to examine the body?
Can I tag team it with Spencer
Sure.
and kind of have Spencer sniff the body, see if he can smell like anyone else, as
Yeah.
well as having I'll cast speak with animals again and have Tony tell me which way the murderer ran, the killer ran after this happened.
Oh yeah, Tony fills you in. Oh, they just disappeared.
From the spot?
Mm-hmm. They just vanished.
Okay. And there are no like blood trails, nothing. There's nothing broken around this area that maybe, I mean, how would he have been able to disappear? Are there any manhole covers or anything like that?
Yeah, you could do an investigation of the area. I mean, this particular alleyway, there are a number of like windows, doorways to get into these warehouses. Like there are a lot of places something could disappear to.
Okay.
But by all accounts, Tony is describing them just disappearing.
Okay.
As Spencer sniffs the body, because speak with animals, you could hear what Spencer says also.
Mhm.
Yeah, Spencer kind of wrinkles up his nose, and he looks back at you, and he kind of looks back at the body, and he says, "Man, I've really got to like get a Spencer voice down pat." He looks back at you and he says,
It smells like you, and it also smells like the wolf guy. And it also smells like summer.
Like summer.
It doesn't smell good though.
Do you see where it leads to? Leads off the body.
Yeah, he does. He smushes his squishy face against the ground and starts like whale hounding it, kind of, going around in circles. And he says that the elf smell doesn't go beyond this area.
And what about the werewolf smell?
That is, this person had that smell.
And the summer?
The summer he associates with the elf. And by summer, if you were to kind of press and he would have to explain himself a little bit more, he would just be like warm and awake and like with energy. And you can tell that he's really trying hard to quantify like what summer would smell like, essentially. But it might be beyond even an intelligent animal companion's ability to sort of explain a concept like that.
Is it kind of like maybe remember seeing how Pheiros took you and him poof through a door? Maybe something like that?
The Egyptian door? Oh.
Well, he does kind of raise his adorable white eyebrows at that, and kind of does a little circle run, in place, and he says, that could be why there's no trail.
Okay.
Are there
What-
doors nearby, or what's?
Well, again, there are windows and doors. These buildings are in terrible shape. So you can kind of see through like the busted glass and missing glass of the windows into these dusty sort of warehouses, just piled with like crates and barrels and cobwebs and whatnot.
Can I send Ketyaru into the westmost one,
Sure.
like through a window, ideally?
So what do the wounds on the body look like?
All right. Give me a medicine or investigation check as you check out the body, specifically the wounds.
Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
They have been stabbed and burned.
Huh. Can I see any like residual like magical like energy from this fellow, like from like on
Oh,
him?
like you kind of kick on your detect magic.
Yeah, do the whole the Witcher like Scooby Doo vision?
Yeah. A lot of time has passed at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like there's any like lingering magical auras.
Okay. Oh.
Time to investigate both buildings, Nikolai thinks.
What's this fellow look like? Is he like a human?
Ah, excellent question. Hold on a second. This guy appears to be a half-orc. A beefy half-orc. Those of you who are locals from Saltmarsh, you may attempt a history check to see if you can recall who he is.
That is not me.
Whoa, Illyria. Nice.
Illyria, you do know who this person is. His name is Varric. He is a freelance security guard.
Varric. And I will run up to him.
Okay. Varric generally keeps to himself, but he does travel in the same circles as your friend Skull,
What
which is to
he
say
doing here?
the rowdy boy circles.
So, would
seeing
Skull
that you
know
recognize him, Skull would probably know him. Yeah, Skull's not here though. Nicolina, seeing your interest in the body and your your recognition of him, she kind of narrows her eyes at you, and she says, "Yeah, well, it's not too unusual because he's a security guard, and despite these appearances, these warehouses are operational. So he was technically working last night." It's interesting to me, Miss Payne, that you know the victim and that you are an elf.
Yes, but not the elf as described, yes?
I mean, this elf has magic at their disposal, and by the accounts I've heard, you have magic at your disposal.
Definitely don't have any fire magic.
Well, the victim was killed by a flaming, piercing weapon. It wouldn't be that hard to get a hold of some fire bolts, crossbow bolts.
Nicolina, let's focus on who our actual enemies are. Leave Illyria alone.
She kind of looks over at you.
And she gives her like a badass look, like just stop it. Like,
All right,
ridiculous.
give me an intimidation check.
Oh, if only he had charisma.
Oh.
Okay. she kind of coolly looks at you, and she says, "I'm just working some things out. That's all."
Mm-hmm. We all are.
Obviously, Miss Payne did not commit the murder because, by all accounts, you and yours only just arrived back in town today. What can I say? It's a small town, and you're small town famous.
What does Katyaru see in the western warehouse?
Yeah, I mean, as
Nothing,
Katyaru is
probably.
kind of prowling around, there are, there are mice and rats and birds that live in there. There are just, crates, barrels, sacks of different grains and products and things like that. I mean, it's a shitty warehouse. Like, it's just full of, basic trade goods that people would probably not bother stealing because they're heavy and not exceptionally valuable by themselves, kind of thing. So they don't mind using a more rundown warehouse to store them.
Like no footprints kind of things that might be
Well,
suspicious.
give me a perception or investigation from Kitty.
Oh, Kitty. Let's do perception. Nope, looks good.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like glaringly obvious, like nothing that's like you found a clue, kind of thing. All right. So, anyone else have anything that they?
Is the can I like pat down the body to see like if he has anything like in his pockets?
Yeah, you totally can. Though, as you start to pat down the body, guard inspector Nicolina just sort of looks over and is like, I mean, I don't know what you expect to find that we didn't already look for. If you'd like to know the contents of his pockets, I can show them to you.
Sure. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, he had like a coin pouch, he had a tobacco pouch, he had a tobacco pipe. I mean, he had a dagger, he had a longsword on him, he had a signal whistle. She just kind of runs you through
Right.
all the basic stuff.
Was his sword drawn?
His sword was drawn, actually. He was holding it in his hand when we found him.
Does his sword have any blood on it?
The sword does not have any blood on it.
This like whole time, like Thagram's gonna be taking like measurements and stuff like that are completely irrational and they don't make any sense.
Nikolai, one thing does kind of stand out to you because big brain. You look at his belongings, and among his coinage, there are no silver pieces.
Huh.
Which most poorer people, right, generally deal in silver pieces, because they poor.
Okay.
So that, or they just keep it because you want to be able to buy like cheap stuff throughout the day, without having to worry about making change, that kind of thing. So, but that could just be a coincidence, but it does kind of stand out to you. You also notice that the signal whistle is made out of bone. It is a scrimshaw signal whistle, for what that's worth.
From whatever it's 10 towns. Yeah, where Dritz like to hang out. I mean, Nikolai kind of looks at everyone. He's like, I think we'll need to think about this. I guess. I don't know.
Have all the murders happened down here in Crabber's Cove?
I also have notes on that. Hold on just a sec. Oh, here we go. Let's see. No. She replies and says, all right, look. I need all the help I can on this, and you seem legitimately interested in helping, and you didn't even have your dinosaur mess with the body and ruin the crime scene. So I feel like I could trust you on this one. And I respect that you are willing to stand up for each other. And she kind of nods to Nikolai. This is what we know. Each of the victims has had stab wounds, and those stab wounds have been cauterized. More than likely by fire. There is evidence of fire damage. So we're thinking someone with a flaming sword, perhaps. Maybe the signature weapon. So the victims that we have, Melanie, half-elf performer, she was pretty well-to-do and was staying in town with a wealthy patron. Clayton is a hired thug, works out of the Empty Net. He was actually our first victim. Then we had a man named Maynard. He works over at the fishery. Same deal. Found dead, stabbed. Out-of-towner named Crackerjack, a halfling jongleur, basically a street performer. Same situation. And now we have Varric, a half-orc in this section of town. So it is not any one particular part of town. It seems to be the problem.
Do I know anything about any of these people? Like if I lived here and like some of the people that were local?
Oh, yeah. Clayton, you guys probably you probably saw him a couple times in the background, essentially, while you guys were going about your business in town. The first murder actually occurred. This is also in the notes. Let's see. On the 14th of chess.
Out of any of the people, like, is there any conclusion, like, they're all bad people?
Oh, sorry. The first murder started, my bad, on the 15th of chess. Which, if you are into that sort of thing, was the first night of a full moon. Okay, so what was the question? Sorry.
Yeah, would I be able to draw the conclusion that if they're bad people, or were they good people, or does it...
Oh,
different types?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously anybody working for Kreb is probably not a great person. So that's probably what sort of triggered your line of investigation in that way. You don't know this Melanie person, since she is an out-of-towner. She's, from what you are gathering, she is sort of a courtesan / performer. So, like, you know, rich people pay her to stay with them and entertain them in a number of ways. And then, you know, she's like professional house guest, I guess. Maynard, he's just a regular guy, just a big beefy, kind of a little bit of a dum-dum, who, you know, just worked every day at the fishery. One of those he'd never heard a fly situations, despite the fact that he's real big. This Crackerjack person, again, it's an out-of-towner who came in to sort of try and either make their money as a street performer or maybe get hired onto a ship. But not a lot of people knew Crackerjack the Halfling. And then Varric, again, you guys know of him. You know that he travels in similar circles to like Skull, who before he started adventuring with you guys was also in quote unquote private security. But you know that private security is kind of an open-ended thing. You know, like they could be good, they could be bad, but mostly they're just doing it for the money. Yeah.
So there's not a connection. Like they're all bad. They're all.
Yeah, they really, the only connection there is that there really isn't much of a connection between them, other than the way that they were all killed.
Well, Thorgrim's gonna get up and like kind of flash his badge to a couple more, or flash his holy symbol / badge to a couple of guards, and then like walk off.
Okay.
I think I'm done here, boys.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna learn too much more tonight.
Okay. As you are heading away, you run into, maybe even physically run into, a big boy that you recognize. Yeah, it's your buddy, not Surfer Thor.
Welgar Brine-handed.
Yes, Welgar Brine-handed. And Welgar Brine-handed kind of looks down at you and he says, Thorgrim, it has been a while, friend. What are you doing down here?
Well, and I'm gonna kind of flash in the holy symbol as well. Kind of on business. Looking around and seeing what's going on.
You showed me your holy symbol, but I know that you are cleric of Gond.
No, yeah. Force a habit. Sorry, yeah.
Is this something that they do in Daggerford? They have to flash holy symbol.
I don't think they quite do it. It's just I was trying to show these boys here that no cleric of Gond was around here.
Well, I was asked to come here to cast Speak with the Dead. This is not the spell I normally have prepared, but I had a bad feeling with full moon coming. There would be more murders, so I prepared it just in case.
Yeah, normally I can cast that spell too, but I just didn't have it on me at the time.
It is understandable. It is a gruesome spell.
Yep, I was just about to head out, but I guess if you're coming to stick around and ask some questions, maybe
If you'd like, you could stick around and help me ask questions.
Would you mind? That's not too much to ask, is it?
No, it's fine. All right, let's do this. And he sort of props the body up, and he checks its mouth and checks its eyes and all that, and he kind of like fishes a finger in there to make sure there's nothing like blocking its throat and all that jazz, and he tries his best to be respectful of the body in his sort of northerners sort of way, and then he begins to cast the spell. All right. So it's been a while since I had to do this. I think we get to ask him 3 questions, but he will only answer if he wants to. There is no way to force him to answer. You can try to be sneaky and bamboozle answers out of him, but it's pretty rude. He's already dead. So
It's 5 questions, but who's counting?
Excellent. Excellent. All right.
I could kill him and make him my slave, but under a cursed specter.
Now, it's important for everyone here to know that Volkur does not support necromancy. This is not animating the dead. What we are speaking with is the remnants of his soul that still cling to the body. His spirit is gone, hopefully to a heaven, but I just don't want anyone to think that this is we're making zombie here today. So
So it looks like a zombie.
it will look like zombie, but it will not hurt you. Do not be scared, Dragonborn.
This is risky, but what do you think about asking for name a person who killed him?
Hey, it's fine with me. That would be an easy one. If he says who it is, the case closed. Is that how they say it, Nicolina? Case closed.
Case closed, but very risky. We should discuss before we ask that.
All right. We
Party?
have 10 minutes, but I will wait till you are ready. I will set up the incense. All right. So he starts setting up the incense and getting this thing ready to rock.
I mean, he could probably tell us what they look like, but maybe he doesn't know what their name was. I'm gonna guess.
Just ask what the last thing he remembers is. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
seems
I mean,
fine.
ask him. I mean, you can 5 questions. Do you know who killed you? Do you know what killed you?
Well,
you know.
yeah. So I thought that would be bundled with like, hey, just tell us like the last 5 minutes you remember. Then.
Yeah.
I like what you said, Thogrum. I would run with that.
I mean, that's really what we want. If he even knows who the killer was, or if they have a name or can associate a name with it. But maybe we try to clear the surrounding area around, like, in case something is said that we don't want other people to hear. Everybody understand?
Essential personnel only.
Yeah. So Thogrum's gonna do that. Thogrum's gonna, like, while Surfer Thor, my dude over here is setting up the incense, I'm gonna kind of go and like quickly like flash my holy symbol of Gon to like the guards and like ask them to like clear out and like move away, that this is official clerical business.
Oh, all right. The guards, who were already uncomfortable with the animating of a dead body, they look to Nicolina, and she just kind of shrugs and motions for them to go to the ends of the alley, and they do. And then she tells this guy to walk a perimeter, and this guy, so they're going to walk a perimeter, essentially. All right. She looks at you, Thogrum, kind of raises an eyebrow, like, eh?
Oh, okay, good.
All right.
You.
So he casts the spell. The incense kind of blazes into a kind of blackish, bluish flame, and then kind of goes out, and the lingering smoke hangs in the air. It smells like the sea, and the smoke kind of wafts towards the corpse, and there is suddenly a intake of air as the corpse breathes in the floating and lingering smoke from the incense, and its dead eyes sort of open and look around, and in sort of a wheezing voice, it says, "What is going on here?"
Ask him who killed you.
Sir, so you're dead. I'm sorry. Well, what's the last thing you remember?
Pain, burning, stabbing.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
man appeared and killed me.
Do you know who he was or is?
Wore a mask and a
cloak, but I believe it was an elf. Tall elf. Dark.
Yeah. Next.
Did you see the weapon that killed you? The weapon that stabbed you?
Burning sword.
Let's wait on the last two for a second.
All right.
What should we ask, guys and ladies?
Those of you who are not here, please feel free to metagame a suggestion in if you would like. Because it's exasperating to have important stuff and not be able to in any way participate. So, looks like Tree had suggestion. I don't know what else is going on.
Did he have any enemies? But don't ask that right now. Did he know anyone that wanted to kill him?
Was there anyone else here besides him and the killer? Like witnesses?
Tony.
Yeah, Tony was there. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah.
Tony's got a little like junior cop badge on right now.
A little Ranger Rick.
What about like if he recognized the spell that was used to make him poof go away? Or was he already out by then?
I mean, from what you and Thogrum know of this guy, he doesn't seem like the type that would have been trained in like Arcana. Yeah. But you yourselves, if you are trained in Arcana, could certainly make a check to see if what you know about elves and teleporting. Yeah, Nikolai Constantine, third of his name, you know that there are at least two species of elves that can innately teleport. Eladrin and Shadarkai.
Nikolai likes to stab both in the face. Oh, what was he doing getting attacked? That's a good question.
Right?
Huh.
Maybe?
Yeah. Welgar kind of looks at you guys and, points to the sun and, because he doesn't own a watch. We cannot cast this spell again for 10 days, I believe. So we should make the best of it. Do you have any more questions?
Is there anything that, is there anything that he wants us to do? What was he doing? Where was he going?
Now, mathematically, if this guy was, say, a basic bitch, he probably had anywhere between 8 to 11 hit points. But the body was stabbed multiple times, which does imply that he was probably a little bit better than a basic bitch. Probably a NPC thug, like the guys that helped you fight the Hydra. So there's a chance, right, that he probably saw a bit, which is why he was able to answer the question so far. If he had been just a regular-ass commoner, more than likely he would have gotten smoked in one hit, not been able to provide anything useful.
Let's not
and a
ask
half
this
orc,
yet,
right?
but
He was a half orc.
Yeah, and he's a half orc, so he would have survived
He's like,
even the
"No."
first killing blow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Poor
let's
lad.
not ask us yet, but like, should we ask him if he knows any other people who have been killed recently? Like, kind of like, let's like connect the dots. I don't know.
Or
Who knows?
or was this like a random attack? Like, was he targeted or?
Yeah, so my only question was thinking of, did he have any enemies before? Anyone that wanted him dead?
I think this is the serial killer.
Might just be a
is
random.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
all just random. Everyone,
all- yeah.
all the
That's my
victims
guess,
seem pretty random.
too.
Yeah, we don't
Here,
have like.
I'll also post the other victims that were shared earlier into chat.
So I think he's just poor, unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Wow.
And each one of them is presumably killed around, a full moon time frame.
Well, it's
But-
interesting because there haven't been that many full moons since the attacks started. Some of these people were actually found dead outside of the full moon, but relatively close to it.
Did the killer say anything to him?
Because the
Wow.
killer's only been at large for about a month, and they've already killed 5 people.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a shapeshifter.
Yeah, I was sort of
not
confused when we were first talking about this, because I remember before we left for the swamp ruins, we had option to investigate it then, and it was like a sun elf silhouette killer, and now we're coming back, and like now we have werewolf as well. Now there's a werewolf in question. Is it 2 people? Maybe they're working together. Or not.
It's Chipper and that Chica.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, way back.
Oh wait,
way
you
back for
mean
some shipper.
She
Celeste,
is.
Slick and Sly? Yes, I remember her name.
Yeah, remember how Chipper's his binding was ripped?
Mm,
Maybe she's the werewolf.
mm.
She had white hair though.
She?
I don't know.
I don't know if either of them were elves, so.
And Tony, who comes from a species where you can clearly tell boys from girls because the boys have massive nuts. He feels qualified that this was a boyish-looking, a male-ish-looking elf.
Okay. You can ask.
And if you can't trust Tony the rat, eyewitness, I mean, who else can you trust? Welgar says, we need to ask these questions quickly. The remnants of his spirit are weakening.
Did the killer say anything to you?
I will ask. And he asks him, and there is a shuddering breath, and the corpse says, he said I could be at peace now.
That's disturbing.
Yeah,
So
so,
what?
it's not super helpful.
He
Was
said he was sorry.
Do you know why he was sorry?
Is that the final question?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Wait, is he a werewolf?
Is here? Yeah.
Are you? Okay, that's the last one. If anyone else has any objections.
Yeah.
It's
He didn't have any silver.
Are you a werewolf, sir?
Welgar looks really confused. Do you want me to ask this man, who is dead, if he is werewolf?
I would still ask why he said he was sorry, but it feels like a broader question.
I feel like, Nikolai, that is a question that most people would have trouble answering.
Okay.
How do you know the thoughts and feelings of another?
It depends on how close you are to them. But yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, I will ask him if he was werewolf. It just kind of comes out of nowhere for me. I have no context here. But because of the moons.
Yeah. Trust.
Yeah,
the
we can do
process.
Because of the moons. Okay, because
Yeah.
first attack happened at the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, big brain time.
Okay. But not all these killings happened at the moon.
Oh, it's okay.
But I did, yes. The first one happened on moon. So I figured there would be more killings on the moon. Alright, let's do this thing. Are you, or were you, or have you ever been a werewolf? And there's sort of kind of a deep intake of breath, And then the corpse says, I don't know.
What do you mean he doesn't know? Oh, because if he was recently infected, then he wouldn't know. Because he would lose time. Oh, oops.
Only know I died waiting for the moon to rise.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
Hell
And then the
yeah.
body just sort of
Right.
collapses.
Hell yeah. Okay. Because if he was recently infected by a werewolf, he wouldn't know because he'd just be like, he turned into a werewolf and kind of just be like, roaring, rampage around a lot.
Yeah.
He would be in control of his token, in other words. So, what do you do with this information?
If you're a werewolf, you are in bad shape.
Okay, so we should go find Gellin.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Maybe someone's knocking off werewolves.
Although it might be someone he knows.
You see him kind of picking up the ritual site, and, clerics with that high wisdom, you know what I'm saying? This perception. He's like, why would this Gellin Primewater, businessman and city council person, know anything about werewolf?
He has a big library.
Yes.
Does he?
His wife is very knowledgeable in the magical arts,
Ah.
like arcane.
I had heard that Gellin had a wife. I never seen her before.
She doesn't go out much.
Is she afraid of the outdoors?
I don't know. I shrug and say she's very, how do you say, touched.
I see. You would think that someone with all of his money could have paid for healing to cure her. Unless, of course, when you say touched, you just mean that she is naturally crazy.
Yeah, she's.
If you start that way, there's really no way to fix it. My head brother, he was in love with seals. In a bad way. So, we don't talk about it too much, but he ended up leaving the tribe to live amongst the seals. He studied as druid so he could turn into one and be with them all the time. It was whatever. But enough about me. All right. I am done here. I wish you luck, Nicolina. I am understaffed. I must go back to my temple. I hope this has been helpful to you. And he kind of packs up and starts heading out. All right. Nicolina looks shook. She's like, wait. If there's werewolves and they're being stabbed, you think someone is hunting werewolves?
We'd like to keep this between us for now.
Oh. Okay. What does that mean? She kind of looks around nervously at all of you.
Yeah, what does that mean, Pheiros?
No, I mean, you still want to go scaring people with stories of werewolves.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, silvered weapons. I don't know if we've got a budget for this. Do you think there's a lot of wait a minute. I'm so torn right now because if this guy's taking care of werewolves, I don't really want to arrest him, but I want to arrest him because he's a vigilante if he's taking care of werewolves instead of a serial killer. But are you still a serial killer? Because, I mean, a werewolf's a person, right?
Why don't we talk with Ida and Gellin, and we can decide next steps?
Or maybe this problem will solve itself. You have to deal with less werewolves, then.
Wait, why don't you just come down to the Who Watch Tower, and you could just talk with me with the guard captain, and we don't need to get, an old lady and a random business guy involved in a supernatural murder mystery.
we think we should, this is very significant. I think we should discuss with.
I mean, Captain
Talina.
Eleander is a retired Eldritch Knight. If anybody's going to know how to deal with a supernatural murderer, it would be him.
Yeah, she's right, you know. Like, you don't need to, like, involve politics into a murder.
Yeah, he'll wink at Nicolina. It's a very nice name. He
Full disclosure. She had it before Nikolai Konstantinov's name was around.
Sure.
I have video evidence, trust me.
That would be fine. We'd go down to the tower. I mean, and we'd investigate, stuff.
Okay.
So we could, like, split off, I guess. It's like he could go, like, a couple of us go to the tower, a couple of us stay in town. If we do need to intend to inform Gellin.
Yeah, I think I have somebody very, very ill at my house, and I think I should go make sure that or they're okay.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you excuse yourself. Number 2 suspect. She says,
he would have known. The dead guy came back to life. He was like, that's her.
all right, so you split off with Spencer, and then I guess Thogrum and Nikolai and Pheiros, you guys are going to go to Who'll Watch Tower?
Sure.
Synchronized shures.
On the way home, can I have Spencer keep his nose to the ground, see if he can smell the smells that he smelled?
Yeah, sure. All right, let's see. All right, and then we got to move you guys back to here. All right, so Who'll Watch Tower, where let's see, Eleander would be located. That would be this guy right here. All right, you don't actually go to his house though. You go to Who'll Watch Tower, which is location 12. All right. Yeah, this nice little elven tower that's left over from when a long ass time ago, like when elves had settled the region briefly. Cool. All right, Eleander is very interested in speaking with you guys and clears his schedule to speak with you and guard investigator Nicolina. So she kind of motions for you guys to let Eleander know what you found out.
Well, Eleander. Oh, we meet again, Mr. Eleander. It's been like what? Months, like a couple weeks now, but yeah, it looks like we found someone who's knocking off werewolves in your town.
He kind of furrows his brow. Werewolves in Saltmarsh.
Well, that's what we believe at least. You could go if you don't see any value in that information, but
he looks to the guard inspector, and she, kind of looks back and she nods, and he says, interesting. Huh. Every time we kind of explored that angle, it wound up feeling like a dead end. But maybe there's more to it. We could follow up with survivors of the victims and get a better sense of what's going on. I guess we could go back over our notes from interrogations and interviews and see if anybody mentioned anything wolfy. At that point, Guard Inspector Nicolina kind of snaps her fingers a few times, and she says, "The dog. The dog."
Mm-hmm.
And then Eleander kind of raises his eyebrows. She takes out her handy-dandy Blue's Clues notebook and begins flipping backwards through it. and she says, a brown wolfhound was spotted interacting with, oh shit, every one of the victims.
What?
Yeah. I guess it was like, some people said it was Auburn, some people described it as a wolf, others as a dog, others as a hound. Clayton was bit by a dog. I know that because Shanker mentioned it in passing. When I asked if anything interesting had happened to Clayton recently, said that he had like a real bad dog bite that he had been nursing, but other than that, pretty boring. The half-elf performer Melanie was seen playing with a dog in the market. Maynard had a dog that had taken a liking to him down at the fishery that he had been quote-unquote secretly feeding fish, but Maynard was a bit of a dummy, so I think they were just sort of indulging him a little. The halfling jongleur was seen performing with a dog. Well, no, there's nothing here actually about Varric and a dog. But 4 out of 5. I mean, there are a lot of stray dogs in Saltmarsh, and a lot of dogs are brown. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of overlapping information here, They all ate at, similar places. They all went to similar places in the city, but I didn't really make a connection there until now. Is that useful to any of you gentlemen?
It's extremely useful. Can we make a copy of your notes?
Yeah, we're gonna have to kill all the dogs now. No, I don't mean that.
I'm not gonna kill all the dogs.
Yeah. The dog days are over.
Okay.
Cat City.
Cats will rule.
I mean, I could just go around and have like a dog show, then just detect magic on all the dogs.
I was gonna say I could.
we should have like a Westminster dog show.
Eleander says, but hold on, before we go crazy about this werewolf conspiracy, we know that the killer is a magic user. Could they have an animal companion or some sort of more advanced familiar that they're using to essentially scout victims?
Nikolai touches his nose, like not it. I mean, sure. That seems reasonable.
All right. I have updated her notes and are pasting them into Roll20 for you. Okay. So Eleander's like, I mean, I feel like if there were werewolves, we'd have more, I don't know, bodies, right? Like werewolves, they lose control in the full moon, right? They savage and kill things. Like, wouldn't we be finding body parts everywhere?
I think your killer is getting to them before they could change.
So you think the killer is hunting werewolves and is so good at it that they've prevented 5 werewolves from, I don't know, wolfing out and attacking Saltmarsh?
Duh.
Well, if they're working towards the safety of the town, why haven't they just approached us and told us what's going on?
Because I guess how can you prove someone's a werewolf unless you kill them with silver, or let them change in front of you?
Well, you guys are pretty good at ferreting out corruption. What do you think we should do?
Well, I think we have a trail. We could handle it. What do you guys think? I defer to Thogrim and Nikolai.
Nikolai agree. I think we need a little bit more time. Maybe 1-2 more days before we get to the bottom of this. But
yeah, I think so. You might
but
need to sit around.
It's gonna be tricky. He doesn't say that.
Well, we'll take this seriously. I will get some of my more advanced people to start carrying silver. Maybe some silver crossbow bolts could work. Just in case. In the meantime, I suppose, if you can help bring this individual to justice, there is currently a bounty of 1,500 gold, dead or alive. We'd prefer alive. And just because they might be doing a service to the town does not in any way, and he says this very meaningfully as he looks at all of you, take away from the fact that they're operating outside of the law and murdering our citizens at their own discretion based on their own decisions. In the end, a murder is still a murder.
Right. Of course.
Nikolai, I agree. We will find this person and bring them, hopefully, alive.
All right. Back at Illyria's house. Illyria, as you arrive, you see on the front step of your house is a lavish bouquet of flowers.
What?
Uh-oh.
What kind of flower are they?
They are mostly white roses with a few red roses kind of mixed in.
Is there a letter?
As you approach, your nosy neighbor, she kind of looks over at you, and she says, "Oh yes, yeah, someone delivered those just a little while ago. They knocked at the door, but no one answered. Do you think they're for you?"
Oh, probably not. Maybe that's for Ta-ree. She's inside.
All right.
Did you see who delivered it? Was it postman?
It was a very young woman, pale, dark hair. She had a strange sort of scarf around her neck, wearing a black cloak.
Have you seen her before?
You know, I don't really go about town too much. I can't say that I have seen her.
Okay. Well, thank you. I hope you have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pick them up and.
Okay.
Is there a note?
Yeah, they're a bit, wind tousled because the wind is starting to pick up a little bit. 'Cause it's going to be a pretty windy night. You look through them. You don't see a note. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Oh God, is this the succubus?
Okay. Yeah. There's something about him. Something about the bouquet, the smell, everything. But you don't recognize it right off. Spencer, however, kind of honks and growls at the bouquet.
Really? I'll toss another speak with animals and ask him what's wrong.
Okay. Spencer's like, those flowers, they smell like that lady that you don't like. The one that you made me shit on her floor. And he like raises his front paw to cover his mouth. I meant poop. Poop on the floor.
Oh.
I'll drop him on the floor.
Okay. You drop the basket bouquet kind of back down and it rustles a little bit.
Perfect. She knows where we live, Spencer. Alright, I want to actually rush in now and check Ta-ree to make sure she's okay.
Do you want me to get rid of these flowers?
The wind will take them.
All right. Yeah, so you open the door. Ta-ree is like, we'll say maybe like half asleep, Ta-ree. I mean, you're kind of rocking some exhaustion. You've got like a day spa set up from the magical rats.
I think once everybody had gone and it was just the rats, I would like very, very tentatively try to turn into my seal form.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you are able to turn into your seal form.
Okay.
The rats are confused.
Fair.
A seal would totally eat a rat, so they are also very scared. So.
No, I cover my snout with my flipper.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like
the universal sign of bad breath. All right. So the
yes.
Yeah.
And then turn back.
Okay.
And then that's all I do. I'm like, I think I probably fall back asleep after that.
All right. The subtitles as the rats discuss, you see somebody say, "Goddamn druids." All right. Because I imagine animals in Fantasyland are probably like very wary of druids. You know what I mean? Because like, yeah. Imagine you meet someone special and they end up being a druid. That'd be awkward. So, or worse, they keep summoning you to die in horrible ways with their animal summoning powers. I don't know. All right. So yeah, as you kind of open the door, she is fitfully sleeping. Not great sleep. Her eyes obviously rapidly moving beneath the lids.
All right. I'll just like sit quietly and kind of wait for her to wake up, but I don't want to wake her up before.
All right. Outside, you see Spencer peeing on the flowers, and then he kicks them off the front step.
Come on, Spencer.
Okay. And he moseys in, and the wind kind of closes the door behind him. All right. Skull. I know you've been in the background this whole time. You finish your dealings. Yeah, you finish your wheelings and dealings. You check in with your bros and sisses in the Rowdy Boys Club. What else do you need to do before you meet up with the rest of the party?
I hadn't considered it. I don't have probably. It was mainly those things I was worried about getting done.
Okay.
I guess if at any point, if I see Pheiros and Ebonfang is not with them, I will freak out. But barring that, probably won't happen. Nothing else.
Okay, fair enough. We will never know what sort of adventures Ebonfang got up to today, but I'm sure they involved friendship. So, all right. I assume at this point you guys will reconvene at the Illyria Thogrum complex
The
to
duplex.
to prepare for dinner time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. I kind of picture there's like 3 houses with like a shared courtyard. You know, there's like this old ass lady, and then her neighbor, the dwarf cleric, and the elf ranger. So it's just, I feel like they could make a whole sitcom about it. It'd be amazing. All right. As you guys meet back, Pheiros, do you stop and pick up baby from daycare, or do you sort of just meet up with the rest of the people because you're wrapped up in this murder mystery?
I'll pick him up from daycare. And see
Okay.
how he did today. You can't leave him overnight.
Okay. As you approach, the blacksmith walks up to you and he says, "Don't leave that creature here ever again."
Oh, what happened?
What happened? And he pulls his shirt away, and you see very bad acid burns on his skin. He was torturing your kobolds down in the basement. And when I went to
What?
stop him, he vomited acid all over me.
Like, wait, torturing them? What? Yeah, like, I'll rush downstairs.
Okay. Yeah, so you see that the kobolds are just huddled in a corner of the basement, badly injured, and kind of just holding each other and like rocking back and forth. Ebonfang has built for himself a small nest out of all of their belongings. Just sort of piled it into a little mountain.
I'll storm.
Yeah.
I'll storm over to him, and I'll pick him up by his like haunches.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh, you hear a click.
Like, what did you do?
I was doing what you said. I was protecting them by
What?
making them strong.
This is not what you do. Like, look at them.
Yes, look at them.
No, they fear you. They don't respect you.
Yes! No! They do both. Listen, do you respect me?
And the kobolds just let out mewling sounds, and they turn into like noodles and just sort of writhe on the ground.
Yes, great one. Oh!
Is that the kind of respect you want?
Yes.
You're being a tyrant now.
Mm-hmm.
You just call him all these words, and he's like, yeah.
Yeah. He's fine with it. I used to think I thought you were making progress. You thought you were ready to lead things, but apparently
I am
not.
leading. I can tell them to do anything, and they'll do it now.
Yeah, out of fear.
Yeah.
He just looks so confused. Like,
Of course. Look at you. Look at Skull. You're both hideous and scary. That's the only reason anyone does anything you ask them to do.
No, these kobolds are my long family friends.
oh, and he gives you a wink with both eyelids.
No,
Friends. Yes. I tried that approach.
they do what I say because they respect me and I trust them.
Oh.
Do you think I'd hurt them?
Yes?
No. And I'll saying so do you think they cried when they saw me? Were they hurt when you saw them?
I mean, you keep them here with a jailer in this dungeon.
It's not a dungeon.
I thought they were your, prisoners.
No. They work for me.
Also, your jailer attacked me. He took a long stick that had many twigs at the end of it, and he hit me with it.
Because you are torturing my friends.
But
He says to you patiently,
Because you and I are friends, I did not murder him. I merely maimed him.
Apologize to Jira and Kira right now.
That's is. I will not.
You will.
I will not.
You definitely will.
I will not.
Goodbye, Pheiros. We loved you while you were here.
Sorry, Does intimidation work on this thing?
I mean, you could try.
Okay.
Ooh. All right.
Oh,
What do you do that's so intimidating?
Like, it's a very,
Besides
like...
show him your
That dad look, yo.
Bare your teeth.
It's a very, like, he's like, okay, you do the whole, like, anime, like, eyes glint red in a very, like, unearthly growl sound with, like, prestidigitation, like a gargling, like, very dragon-like sound.
All right. Let me see. Oof. All right, give me an insight check.
Okay. These are never good.
Ugh.
Okay. You have gotten through to him and changed his heart. He turns to the kobolds and he says,
Sorry, friends.
Oh, God.
I thought we would have a better relationship if you understood the difference between you and me. But there are other ways for us to be friends. That I hurt you so much. And hopefully it never happens again.
What are the odds?
and you see in the bottom of the screen, Vutha Jesk will remember this.
Ooh.
There, Pheiros. I have done as you frightened me into doing. You have taught me another valuable lesson.
This is my fault, honestly. Then I'll say, don't worry, I'll return you to Skull. We don't have to talk about this now. And I'll leave with him if he unless he wants.
He doesn't want to leave until he puts his kobold costume back on. Do you help him put his kobold costume back on?
I'll help him put his kobold costume.
Okay.
Back on.
All right. As you walk by carrying this creature, it hisses at the blacksmith. The blacksmith shies away instinctively. You hear a purring sound coming from inside the creature. All right. You head out into the night with your tiny bundle of love and friendship. All right. You guys all meet at, man, you know what? I feel like we need a good name. Something Junction. What would be the name of the junction where your three houses are? Because I feel like you need a good name for that. Squidward Junction? Oh, man, that would be amazing. Yeah. But not like Squidward from SpongeBob, obviously. Just a ward who's also a squid, who's also a junction. So you guys meet back at Squidward Junction. And now I need to make a map for it, too. And, yeah, you do you dish to each other the events of the day? Is there anything that is not discussed, I guess I should ask?
No.
Okay.
At least from my end.
Pheiros, you tell him everything that happened today?
I'll take Skull aside.
Okay.
And I'll
Ebonfang's not allowed in my house, so far.
Also, those of you who arrive, you do see that there is an upturned basket of piston flowers and roses that are being blown everywhere by the wind.
What's with the flowers?
White and the occasional red petal just kind of do a dramatic anime intro outro type thing around Illyria's house.
So our little succubus friend has become keen on me, and not the good keen.
Well, we knew that. She said she was going to kill you because you had your Spencer shit on her floor.
Well, it had to be done.
Agreed. Or she's trying to get back to Ta-ree. She says she wasn't feeling well.
Well, there was no note, but I mean, I guess it could be for Ta-ree, maybe calling her back to her side. Can any of you guys see anything magic-y on the flowers?
I can do a detect magic.
Yeah, you all
I pull out my crowbar.
Okay.
I feel the
bar.
Let's detect magic first.
All right.
All right, we'll just do it.
Yeah. The baskets and roses and rose petals that are blowing around, none of that actually keys any magic. They may have just been flowers.
Or maybe they're poison flowers.
Ooh. The Tressum will go and sniff them to see if they're poison.
Oh god.
Are they poison?
They are not poisonous.
Okay.
The Tressum believes that they have been doused with some perfume.
Love is blind.
Maybe they are for Ta-ree. Is Ta-ree awake?
They are on your doorstep. That is.
I would say her sleep has been pretty fitful. At this point, you guys, there being so many of you in such a small place, it would definitely kind of wake her up.
Yeah. What's going on? What happened? Is it what time is it? Is it tomorrow?
It is almost sunset at this point.
So
Don't we have a dinner?
Nikolai, I
No,
believe we
dear.
do with prime water.
We got these flowers. I don't know if they're sent to me as a threat or to you as a
Also a threat.
wanting. No, I don't know. I think she liked you.
I mean, she does. Sort
I mean,
of.
a Spencer likes fish, but I wouldn't want to be his fish, if you take my meaning.
Yeah. Either way, it's bad.
Yeah. I'm sorry to have brought this to your house.
Well, I mean, if they were sent to me, I brought it upon myself.
That's fair. Well, should we, I guess go see what Gellin has to say, and then maybe he knows something about the other family of cultists. We could, see if we could get any more information about her, and start coming up with a plan.
Are you referring to Scarin Wave Chaser?
No.
Or
Talking about
The people who were running the Jamba Juice, weren't they involved in a cult?
S'mores?
The Saltmarsh, yeah.
Saltmarsh, got it.
Almost owned
Okay.
the Jamba Juice. Yeah, we found that out.
Anders Solmore. Got it. Okay.
Karen Wave Chaser was the name we got from Sigma when we interrogated her a year ago.
Gotcha.
I still think we should kill Nikolai. I still think we should kill Succubus, but if you all are afraid, we can do other things. He says in a very like hobgoblin-y, like me very strong, me kill that person kind of way.
Alrighty. Okay. Gotcha.
But I mean, I think we are kind of on the trail of the serial killer, so maybe we're close.
Do you guys want
Yeah,
to
there's
kill a white
like-
dragon? No.
There's like it's like your progress bars are like, you know, halfway full and like a lot of quests right now, I feel. But that's kind of, you know, that's kind of life, I feel. It's
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Well,
all right. Well, we are at
Yeah.
midnight, and I think another scene. Whether I think at this point you'd have to go talk to Prime Order or miss the opportunity.
I mean, I do feel like
We
if
invited all of us,
Ta-ree
right?
is
Yeah.
like continually getting kind of like her long rest screwed up by the succubus, we probably should deal with that.
I mean, medically, if she gets too much exhaustion, she will die.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we should probably do something about that.
I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I don't see Ta-ree die. I don't think you guys do.
I think that'd be
If we-
bad.
But now you guys are a bit of a distance from Daggerford.
yeah.
Can we-
Yeah. So, stuff to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got two single dads trying the best they can
They're
to
doing
bring.
good.
Yeah.
They're doing well.
I mean, you've bludgeoned me over the head with a concept that there's no way I can make him good, so a little less evil is the
What?
best I can do.
I wouldn't say anyone got bludgeoned over the head except for that guy at the fighting pit. But
And I have a nice like belt buckle now, so that's cool.
I guess the life of your blacksmith is now forfeit, Pheiros, because if he
I
talks
mean,
out, I
you've
have to kill him.
been working on this baby for like less than a week. You can't if you're gonna
sure.
give up on your baby in less than a week. Of course, he's never gonna be good.
Yeah, you can't.
But when you've got Pheiros intimidating him into doing what he wants,
you can't
he's
use his own
obviously going to
tactics against
learn.
him.
Yeah, he's obviously going to learn what's important.
Yeah,
Intimidation.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll have some
I did
role-
find
we'll
it
have some
ironic
roleplay
that you
Pheiros.
intimidated him into apologizing for intimidating people into doing what he wanted.
Yeah.
It's-
The irony is not lost on Pheiros.
Yeah, it's like a kid that is beating up other kids, and his dad finds out, so he beats him up. Don't beat people up, and he beats him up. Like, being a parent's hard. I think the two of you, if you stick together, I think you can make it work. So it's nice. I can't wait for your Christmas card. This is gonna be a beautiful family. There we go. Get a little screenshot of these cuties. All right. Anything else before we adjourn until next week? It feels like you've got so many threads that are starting to like weave together. Yeah. Oof.
Oh, wait, what is Skull know about luck?
Yeah.
Wait, what would Skull not know about luck?
Yeah, that's a great question.
You
It's-
trying to
it's-
swoon that luck, though?
Oh, the third dad who's selling cigarettes to the kid. Wow.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because you guys are in like an open two dads marriage, and then Pheiros is like plus
There's still
one.
no one's open though.
Is teaching like your baby to smoke cigarettes and gamble and everything
Drink.
else. Yeah, but I have hope for him. I have hope for him. No, I don't. I don't have any hope for him. But still, we'll see. Who knows? Who knows how it'll turn around? So, all right. If that is the case, we will adjourn here, and we will pick this up back up next week. I'm assuming, unless you guys get a hankering to leave in the middle of the night, go all the way back to Daggerford, kick down this lady's door, and be like, "Yo, bitch, it's over." I'm assuming you're gonna follow through on investigating the serial killer.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep in mind that drugs are a thing. And there are drugs in Saltmarsh because pirates and smuggling. So if you need fantasy Ambien to get Ta-ree through the night, I mean, that is a thing that you could do. So there are solutions sometimes that aren't necessarily magical that could maybe work. So, and I mean, Serge could put her to sleep forever. He volunteers. So. Yeah. And someone else would probably be willing to do that as well, honestly.
Okay. Wait, can I pass Skull my money so he could buy the great sword before the inventory changes again?
It's
Gone now.
gone. It's gone.
Wait, the inventory from the other shop is also
changed,
refreshed
yeah.
too?
All shops refresh every 10 days.
Okay, so can we just rest for 10 days and then redo it back to them? Because that's rude.
Yeah, what do they want on that list?
If you feel they didn't do it. They didn't do it to mess with the store. They did it because
they go back token. Is it a time travel token? I mean, it's a time travel token, right?
It is a time travel token.
Yeah. You could say that you bought it for him for Friendship Day.
Just what are we gonna
Exactly.
do with Serge though? He's gonna be super pissed.
Okay, so wait, no. You could
All
pass
right,
We
Serge
can
some-
figure that out.
That would be
You could do a
it's
Casey. You could Casey Jones it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's figure it out offline, I think.
Okay.
I think I did see the sword show up in another shop, but it's like a 3-day sale to basically Pirate Town. I think that's where the sword is now.
Add another quest.
Yeah.
What?
I'm kidding.
Oh, well, they unlocked another magic shop while they were sailing around the Great Sea. And I think I saw that they had I think it was actually a flaming rapier. Or maybe it was the dragon rapier. I can't remember now. There was a dragon killing rapier, but maybe there was also a flaming rapier. I don't know. There's a lot of magic shops now.
So wait, are the shops the only things that are like quantum entangled to the sun group?
That word.
Sure.
Or rather, what other things are quantum entangled
That's a
to the
good
sun
word.
group?
I like that word.
Yeah, I can't really reveal that information at this time.
Okay.
But the idea is to sort of get you guys, if you see something in the shop, you should get it, right? Because what I'm doing is trying to represent that this is a import-export shipping town, and goods are not just going to sit on the shelf forever. So when you see something you like in the essentially the consignment shop, which is what a magic item brokerage is, you got to snatch it up if that's what you're interested in, sort of thing. So, but if Ta-ree wanted to use her flashback token to say that she had picked it up for you, I mean, she's got a very high persuasion. She probably could have said, "I'll give you this much money down, and we'll give you the rest of the money when we get back from Daggerford." Blah blah blah. I mean, I don't see that being an unbelievable situation. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
But that's the main reason that I'm intertwining in between the two groups, is to sort of force a bit of unpredictability to the inventory of the shops. So you'll also notice that the shops only ever have basic bitch magic items. They don't have anything like homebrew or custom or anything. They're always just the kind of standard magical items. The real fancy stuff you still have to go out and find in the wild, essentially. So, which there's a lot of it, because I got a hold of a book with 800 magic items in it. It's amazing.
Is that
they're
where
all
the
like
ring came from?
They're all those they're all 4th edition items that were converted into 5th edition items, and 4th edition was Diablo level loot. I'm talking, you did not have a limit on, the only limit on your attunement slots was the parts of your body. Like, it was very like Worlds of Warcraft. Every slot on your body could have a magic item. So that edition of D&D had so many magic items, and they were actually like pretty interesting magic items. So it's exciting to have all those converted over to 5th edition. So those are the items that I'm most likely going to start seeding into world drops, and then I'm going to keep the more basic stuff in like shops, I'm thinking. So, all right. I hope everybody has a good week. I hope that there's not too many plot threads going on at once, that you're still able to feel like you can keep track of and focus on, the more immediate stuff. But with the sandbox game, it can kind of feel like that sometimes. But from what I've read in Discord, you guys are doing a pretty good job of keeping those sort of sorted out, which is cool. So, and if you have any questions for me, of course, during the week, just hit me up in chat. Otherwise, figure out how you're going to solve this murder ? And then we'll pick it up next week.
Awesome. Thanks.
That
All
sounds
right.
good.
Night, everybody.
Night.
Night.
Good
Night
night.
all.
Probably with more murder.
We just need to have